Stocks seesaw ahead of the budget this weekend. Metals and power notch gains, while consumer durables, auto and FMCG continue to drag.
L&T gains on reporting revenues and margins ahead of expectations, even as its net profit is dented by a hefty 1,300 crore labour court charge. The engineering to IT major raises its order inflow growth guidance to above the earlier figure of 10%.
Gold jumps $500 in just 2 days to top $5,500 per ounce in its fastest climb in recent history. The stellar move boosts sentiment for gold loan financiers who now have greater coverage value for their loans.
The Economic Survey sees India growing at 6.8 to 7.2% in FY27, adding that the country's potential growth rate has improved to 7% from 6.5%. However, it calls for sustained reforms to drive growth in services and manufacturing, while expressing concerns over the falling rupee's impact on foreign investment.
The Economic Survey suggests redefining government companies as those with 26% shareholding from 51% at present to enable monetization of further stakes via divestment.
Good afternoon. You're with us here on Business Lunch. We are coming to you live from the CNBC TV18 Motilal Oswal studios. I'm Hormuz Patakia. With me, Arundhati Ramanan. Arundhati, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Hormaz. Hi, guys. The markets are seeing a recovery. Now, the Economic Survey has been tabled. And next, the key thing to watch out for is the budget. So some recovery in the markets there, but the mid-cap index still lagging.
The mid-cap index is lagging, but it has recovered from the lows as well. So the markets have seen a recovery overall, the Nifty back in the green, and that has now got to be almost 200-point recovery that the index has seen. Remember, in the earlier part of the trading session, the index had almost given up 50% of what it had gained in the last two trading sessions. So it's been a good recovery for the markets. By the way, it's an absolutely crazy afternoon when it comes to earnings that is lined up in front of us. A couple of names that just came out a few minutes ago. Pull up Canada Bank. The net interest income was below the CNBC TV18 poll expectations. Provisions have seen a marginal increase on a sequential basis, and the profitability growth is also aided by a higher other income component. So that you need to keep in mind. The stock down 3% at the lows of the day. And also pull up KPIT Tech, the dollar revenue growth for the quarter being absolutely flat. And the management had spoken about this as well earlier on. The stock seeing a bit of a seesaw after the results announcement, currently near the lowest point of the day, 3% lower. Arundhati.
Absolutely. And if you saw, the rupee has also hit a record low as we speak right now. But let's take a look at the stocks that are doing well in trade. We've got that metal pack that's been leading from the front for a few days. Hindustan Copper, Nalco and Vedanta, all of them doing really well in trade. As you can see, over 2% higher. Hindustan Copper, 19% in the green. Oil India, ONGC continue to extend their gains from yesterday. Both of Oil India up 5%, ONGC 2% in the green. But on the downside, we've got that auto pack. So if you pull that up, we've got M&M, Maruti Suzuki, Apollo Tyres, all of them over 2% in the red. And apart from the auto stocks, we've got those IT stocks that are also seeing cuts, Persistent Systems, Emphasis, all of them 2% in the red.
And now, a short while back, the finance minister tabled the economic survey for 2026 to 2027. The survey noted that the overall economic outlook for the country is positive. The FY27 GDP growth is estimated to be between 6.8 to 7.2%, thanks to reforms and macroeconomic stability. The outlook, it notes, is one of steady growth amidst global uncertainty, requiring caution but not pessimism. Meanwhile, the report notes that the rupee's valuation does not accurately reflect India's stellar economic fundamentals, but investor reluctance to commit to the country warrants examination. Now, it also noted that tax rationalization has led to improvement in urban consumption, while the economy has been showing broad-based demand momentum.
Absolutely. And meanwhile, PM Modi addressed the media ahead of the tabling of the economic survey. And let's hear out what he had to say.
देश का ध्यान बजट की तरफ होना बहुत स्वाभाविक है, लेकिन इस सरकार की ये पहचान रही है रिफॉर्म, परफॉर्म एंड ट्रांसफॉर्म। और अब तो हम रिफॉर्म एक्सप्रेस पर चल पड़े हैं, बहुत तेजी से चल पड़े हैं। और मैं संसद के भी सभी साथियों का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं कि इस रिफॉर्म एक्सप्रेस को गति देने में वे भी अपनी सकारात्मक शक्ति को लगा रहे हैं।
Numbers continue to flash at the bottom of your screen. This time, Apar Industries, profit growth of around 19% from last year. Margins have also seen an expansion on a year-on-year basis. Now, the stock at the highest point of the day, 6% higher, 16% revenue growth coming in as well for Apar Industries. Take a short break. More news on the other side. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're watching Business Lunch. A whole host of stocks are buzzing on the back of their third quarter numbers. Upasana joins us now with all of those details. Upasana?
Well, let us look at some of the hits and misses in terms of the Q3 numbers. Firstly, let us focus on the hits. L&T, overall the numbers were good, but there was a top line miss due to execution challenges. But the core margins of the company improved by 40 basis points to 8.1%. Next up is GE Vernova. Earnings beats estimates, the strongest revenue growth that the company has seen since Q2 FY25, with a revenue uptick of nearly 58% on a Y-on-Y basis. Margins stood at 26.7 versus 16.7, so a huge jump up there as well. VCAR also reported a strong set of numbers. The revenue saw an uptick of 11%, and the company's core segment, that is electrical segment, that outperformed with a growth of 26% on year-on-year basis. EBITDA margins also saw expansion of nearly about 60 basis points at 8.8%. Coming to profit, they were down about 5%. Next up is Gland Pharma. Revenue was above, margin and PAT largely in line for the company. Revenue saw an uptick of 22%, and company has also mentioned that it is targeting a mid-teen revenue growth in FY26. Now coming to some of the earnings misses in terms of reaction and even in terms of numbers as well. NSDL, the revenue declined by 10% sequentially. This is mainly due to the drop in the company's core segment, that is 17% in the core depository segment. And lastly, coming to Bosch Home Comfort India, the revenue saw an uptick of 10%, but the company's margins were down nearly about 420 basis points.
All right, Upasana, thank you so much for taking us through all of those earnings that have come out today. But on that note, it is time for us to head into another short break. But more news and updates on the other side. Stay tuned.
Even as the market has recovered from the lows of the day, what has now extended its losses is Canara Bank, and it's now down over 4% as we speak. So margins also under pressure for the company, for the lender, contraction of around 30 basis points from last year. So 4.5% lower on Canara Bank. Numbers of IEX flashing at the bottom of your screen. Profits higher by 11%. Revenues are higher by 10%. The stock looking to recover from the lows of the day. You get more details from Vivek just in a few minutes from now. 8% EBITDA growth as well from last year. But Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar was cremated with full state honours at the Vidya Pratishthan ground in Baramati earlier today. Ajit Pawar, along with 4 other associates, lost their lives yesterday when the minister's Learjet crashed en route to a rally in Baramati. Veteran political leaders such as Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, Nitin Gadkari, as well as Home Minister Amit Shah paid their final respects to the NCP Supremo. Pawar is survived by his wife Sunetra, a member of the Rajya Sabha, and 2 sons, Parth and Jay. The Maharashtra state government has also declared a public holiday on Wednesday and announced a 3-day period of state mourning.
And with that, it is a wrap on this edition of Business Lunch. From Hormaz and me, goodbye and many thanks for watching. Midcap Radar takes all the action forward.